Welcome, Star Citizens. It's your boy Lando here. I just wanted to do a quick video about the Roadmap Roundup and the Star Citizen Monthly Report. So the Roadmap Roundup is really not anything special. Let's get to it, and then we'll go through everything pretty quickly here. So if you look here, you got the Roadmap Roundup, which is literally just two things. It says notable changes for March 6th, and then it talks about image upscaling, so implementing support for GPU upscaling, including DLSS, FSR, and in-house TSR solution. So that's not nothing, right? It's important because they're letting you know that the game will support DLSS and FSR, and they're also saying that we worked on implementing that. So what does that mean? It means you'll be able to use kind of like a cheaper graphics card and still get some solid, frames per second out of it, really. Then the volumetric clouds update. So volumetric cloud technology to improve overall visual quality, adding volumetric shadows and implementation of ground fog. So this is just more adding to the realistic nature of the game, right? And that was it. Those were the only two things on the release view, right? So I'll go through probably and see if there's any notable changes to which ships are coming out or anything like that. But I don't think there will be. My guess is that there will just be these two things that change, right? I do think not because of this month, right? I do think in March we'll see some more notable things, because you got to remember they just came back in February, so they're not going to have a whole lot done. Now that they're getting back into the swing of things, I think March update will be a lot bigger. So now that's the Roadmap Roundup. Let's go to the monthly report. So the monthly report, all right, so we'll go through each one of these, but we'll go through these really quick because I don't want to just read it to you. I also want to talk about it. So AI features, it says they have had some details that they're not ready to release, so I don't even know why they included that. The AI tech, it says they worked on the nav system. They were extending the planetary nav mesh. Okay, we need that. Then it also says planet following physics terrain patches. All right, cool. NPCs using trolleys. We need that. So one of the things that's coming is our ability to, have our own hangars basically, and we're going to have our freight loading and all that stuff. So we need NPCs to know how to use trolleys so that they can load our ships for us, or at least help us load if we want to do it ourselves. And that will decrease the amount of time it takes. Also, in those times where we can't do it ourselves, we need them to be able to fully do that. So this is making sure that their behavior while they're pushing those trolleys is solid. Spaceship behaviors were also iterated on to deliver better ship versus turret combat. Fighters will now correctly target standalone turrets and perform appropriate combat behaviors. Okay, so they are making AI spaceships better fighters. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I actually don't do a whole lot of fighting. I try to normally do the non-combat roles. So I practiced a few times, but then once I realized that they were changing the whole system, I kind of stopped the practicing, and now I'm waiting until the new patch comes up, and then I'll get back to practicing and getting better at space combat. But yeah, I never really noticed. It didn't seem like it was too easy. Sometimes I feel like if you get certain ships, it's too easy. Like if you get a Corsair and do PvE content, it's just overkill. You can just kill everything. You just don't get hit a lot, but yeah, you can pretty much kill everything with the Corsair. I had an A2 that I was taking out and I was killing everything with. You just have to get the guns on. And then even my 600i I've taken out and was able to do most PvE missions. So yeah, pretty solid. Let's see what else they got. Numerous updates were added to the Apollo tool, such as improved feedback for errors in missions. Okay, so they're learning how to read new things. Looks like it says a new UI for the subsumption tool. So they are working on the Tony Z stuff. All right, looks like we're gonna get some updates here soon. Yes, I love it. So if you didn't know, Tony Z is like one of my favorite CIG employees, if not my favorite, because they brought me to the game. So subsumption is important because it's going to help with the entire AI system, right? Like it's going to make sure that AIs actually live and breathe in the universe, right? They have day-to-day activities. They're always going to do something. They're not just existing for the sake of existing, right? Then it says AI tech continue to support PU releases. Okay, that's just normal stuff. I don't see anything crazy here. I think the biggest thing is probably the subsumption tool thing and the spaceship behaviors, because you guys will have to tell me in the comments if you think that AI combat needed to be better. But from what I've seen, it seems like you can't use the same ships for PvP as you can use for PvE, because PvE is substantially easier, but that's kind of the way it's always supposed to be, right? So I've never been able to say it outside of like the relative PvE versus PvP standpoint. But do you think that PvP space combat needed to be improved? Like, do you think that they weren't good enough? Like, was the AI good enough to really put up a fight? So, because that's what it looks like they're updating. Then they did a few art passes. Looks like, oh, here we go. Progress was made on the RSI Polaris, with the exterior progressing to, okay. 2 upcoming variants progressed through the pipeline. Okay, it's not saying which variants. Love it. Gold standard pass for the Retaliator. Yes, I just said this, I think in like a few videos ago. I was saying that people need to get the Retaliator because that ship is awesome and it's underrated. So this is the time. They're working on the Retaliator base gold pass right now, and it's awaiting gray box, it says right here. Yeah. The base, cargo, and bombing torpedo modules are progressing as well. Yeah. So it's time. If you were thinking, oh, I want to wait until they're actually working on the Retaliator to get one, get one. It's $150. It's going to be worth more than that. When they finish this gold pass, the Retaliator is going to go up in price. So I'm just letting you know now. 2 unannounced vehicles. Okay, so we got 2 upcoming variants, which means they don't want to tell us what those are. And then we got 2 unannounced vehicles. So we got a few things coming. My guess is one of the vehicles is the one that they're either going to release it this month or next month. I think it's going to be like a hover vehicle from like Mirai or something like that. And then I think the other vehicle might be like the base builder vehicle. Now, that just makes sense because I guess I'm thinking like they don't need another combat vehicle. So that it would make sense to me, but it also is like if they bring it without the gameplay, you're going to have people being like, well, why did you bring that? So maybe not. What do you think the next vehicle will be? Is there any like rumor mill stuff out there that says which vehicle that's going to be? I don't know. RSI Zeus is approaching the end of gray box. It's almost here, people. I've been telling folks like that the Zeus CL is one of the better ships in the verse, right? Like if you don't have a CL and you need something for cargo, get towards it. Like the Zeus CL is going to be a fire ship. And then it says polish was completed on another new ship. Okay, all right. So that's at least 5 confirmed concepts coming up, right? So 2 variant concepts, 2 unannounced vehicles, and a whole new ship. All right. So why do we read these? There you go. There's a reason to read these right there. Weapon art. They worked on some scope magnification and optic improvements. So I have not been doing my due diligence with FPS. I haven't been putting in a lot of work with FPS. Like I've done a few bunker missions and stuff, but I haven't really put in a lot of work because for me, I've been waiting for the game to significantly change, and it has. Well, it will with 3.23. So I am ready. Part of the reason I've been waiting to like launch my Twitch channel and everything is because I kind of want to wait for 3.23 and kind of re-engage with the game in a way where I'm trying to train rather than just play, right? So right now when I play Star Citizen, I'm just kind of having fun and being goofy. Like I'll, go do a salvage mission to make some money, but then like for the most part, I'm just dropping bombs on a random planet, running away from police, or like just doing crazy stuff. I'm not really playing it to like invest the time into the training. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that. All right, so community, obviously we had the Red Festival, we had Coromore, they had the screenshot contest. This looks like it was this the winning one? This image by Pangora, this is fire. Whoever did this, Pangora, this is awesome. Yeah, I don't know how people do this. Is this like, this has to be like, you got to be like editing the image, right, to get this, right? This, I mean, if you just managed to pull this, I don't know how you got all the stuff floating and stuff. So I'm gonna assume that this was Photoshop. It's incredible either way. I'm just saying. I can't enter the screenshot contest because I don't know how to use Photoshop that well. And if it wasn't Photoshop and you just have to find a way to do this in the verse, I'm still not gonna be able to pull that off. I'm just letting you know. It's just not me. I'm artistic in other ways, right? Like I can create content, right? Yeah, whatever that means. So the team that then supported the community events. So it looks like there was a Destination Cache event, Verse at War 2 Degree Edition. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. All right, and then the Crux Cup. The Crux Cup's coming up. That's what they're letting us know. Then we have telling us that they're doing this week in Star Citizen, this month in Star Citizen. All right, then the Arena Commander schedule is updated, so go take a look at that. Or we could take a look at that. Why not? Woo! Bam! Oh, look at that. That's fancy. That's fancy. Oh, this is not updated. Okay, so looks like they updated Grav Race and Tank Royale. 5 new maps here, and I don't see what they upgraded with Tank Royale. So, well, those are available if you want to go play those. All right, so then core gameplay. All right, so looks like new backpack reloading ahead of QA testing. Magazines are now repacked in a player's inventory. Support continued for ongoing scope updates. Like I said, I need to really get back into this because I'm not even sure which scopes go on which weapons and which ones are best. But that's some stuff that I plan on like going into game and checking out, and I'll probably make a video about it. Like, okay, I have a little bit of military training, just a little bit. So maybe I'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe I won't, but I definitely won't be on there acting like I'm an expert. I'll just give you my 2 cents on it, like which scope should go with which weapons. So an item wear and misfire. I don't know how I feel about wear and misfire. I know it's supposed to do that, but I just hope they balance it right, because I don't want to like always worry about my weapon wearing and misfiring. Now, if they allow me to just clean my weapon, which keeps it from wearing, then yeah, every time I go on a FPS mission, I'll come back, clean my weapon, and I'll be fine. But I don't want it to be like there's no way to clean your weapon, it just will wear and then it will misfire. Like, I want to be able to just clean my weapon and then never have to worry about it misfiring, right? So I hope that that's part of it. The player interaction system, the team spent a lot of time bug fixing. They also added a game option to hide the F prompt. Okay, I like that. Devs then added the ability to show the loot screen from the interaction wheel. I like that. This is all stuff that just makes the game go a little bit quicker. Players will also now auto crouch if the object they're looting is below them. I like that, so it doesn't make you be like, oh, you can't access this option because you're not crouching. The team are working on a replacement for the legacy quick buy UI using building blocks. This will also be used for renting vehicles during events. Okay, I like that. The freight elevator kiosk is being worked on. So if you didn't know, they pushed the freight elevators back to a later patch. So I don't think it's going to be like 3.24 3.24 that it's pushed back to. I think it'll be 3.23 point something, and then we'll get the freight elevators. Then it says, for the ongoing visor lens HUD rework, progress continued on various UI elements. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's, I think the visor lens HUD rework is supposed to be in 3.23. So I guess they're just saying like, we're still working on it. So that's letting us know, yeah, it's probably going to be, if you weren't expecting it, I would say late April is when we're getting 3.23. I don't think it's going to be early April at all. I feel like when we're reading this, it would be very clear like, oh, they just finished this and this and this and this, and we would be seeing a whole lot more. We just finished, but we're not seeing that. So I think we got almost 2 months before we'll see 3.23, and I'm okay with that. I'm being patient right now because, you know, I got some ship reviews to do until then, and then right after 3.23 comes out, the very next month we get Invictus launch week. So I'm ready. Let's see, for prone players, or did I skip? Nope. It says, regarding EVA, core gameplay continue to implement and improve networking support that ensure players' arms and held entities don't clip. Okay, yeah, we need that. The EVA changes are going to be big because I think, you know, just moving your character forward like this versus like the kind of swimming look, I think it just looks more natural when you're doing the swimming look. Like, I feel like that's how people would go through space. But at the same time, I've never been to space, so I don't know. This is me guessing. But I think it works better because then they can they can create like little tubes and stuff that you can go through for certain missions and stuff. And not everything doesn't have to be like a complete doorway sized thing for you to get through it. But I do think you should be able to like go that way and then come back up like this way for like your FPS and then go back down or something. I don't know. But technically you're a smaller silhouette if you're facing like that. So technically you're better off in that way. So we'll see. All right, says for master modes, for prone, players will now be forced out when they perform actions that require them to crouch, such as melee attacks. That's smart, because we don't want people to be able to do things. This just adds to the realism of the game. We don't want people to be able to do things from the prone position when in real life you'd have to get up and do that. Then it says for master modes, they're still working with design to tune archetypes. They have so far completed around 90% of the initial conversion with further tuning passes. This is huge because a lot of people have issues with master modes. I'm reading through the comments and I'm seeing what people's issues are with master modes, and I understand. Like, I'm starting to see why people have issues with it. However, and until we get the full thing, I can't say it's bad or good. Really, what my opinion of it is, it did need to change. I don't know how much they've changed it, because I refuse to go look at an unfinished master modes. Like, I'm more than willing to let people go in and change it to the way they want it. But I played it like 2 or 3 times and it seemed okay to me. It didn't seem like it was too crazy, but again, when I went into it knowing that it was unfinished, so I don't want to put too much stock into what I saw knowing that was unfinished. So I'll let everybody put their comments in it. I'll see what the finished product is. But I'm actually excited for master modes. I think it's going to change the way we play the game. It's going to make this game unique. I think it's going to slow down the fight a little bit, make it a little bit more epic, right? Like when you get into space combat, it's going to seem more like an event rather than just like an annoyance to some and you know, an event to others. So yeah, I'm excited for it, not because I think it'll be perfect, but because I think it will be a step in the right direction. So that's what I'll say. They continue work on jump points. All right, so yeah, I don't think we're getting jump points in 3.23. I don't think that'll happen. I think if we get jump points, I think it'll be after 3.23. I don't know when, but I don't think we're going to get it in 3.23. For the resource network and engineering, heat gameplay was added, which enables items to generate heat based on their usage. Items will require coolant if necessary and will overheat and degrade in functionality if not addressed. So basically, you got to do maintenance on your ship. And this is why, like, I really like this, because I feel like Right now, most people, they just hop out of their ship, go do their mission, and then come back to the ship. Everything's fine, right? Or you get your ship repaired, and then, but I would love to be able to get out of my ship and then like have to do a little bit of maintenance, and then that just keeps things from overheating. We have to refill coolants and fuels and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool to do. I just don't want it to be annoying, and that's where I really want CIG to focus on not making those things annoying. Like, I shouldn't have to do maintenance. Like right now, I don't, like on my vehicle, I don't have to do maintenance every single day, right? So don't make me do maintenance every time I use the ship and come back, right? I should be able to do maintenance once a week, and that should take care of me for like the week, right? Like, I shouldn't have to do it every single day. Now, I might have to check my ship, to make sure like, nothing's leaking or something like that. But even still, like, the maintenance shouldn't be something that annoys people. All right, so life support is now fully integrated into the resource network with the life support generator, and tank now functional. This is going to be huge. You're not going to be able to put 300 people on your ship that's crewed for 8. You're not going to be able to do that anymore unless you're going somewhere for a very short time, right? So the life support thing, I don't want it to be like you can't have any extra people on your ship, because that's just not realistic. People would have extra people on their ship. It should just be, you shouldn't be able to have extra people on your ship for an extended period of time, right? If we're going from point A to point B, we should be fine. But if we're going from point A to point B to point C to point B, and we're not stopping and refilling our oxygen, then what are we doing? Obviously, we're going to run out of oxygen. So improved debugging tools, that's more so stuff for the developers. For radar and scanning, core gameplay completed an important refactor to reduce the number of radar components on vehicles and share data between seat operators. Okay, I dig that. The team also supported elevators for the upcoming instance hangars and supported quantum travel and markers working alongside server meshing. Okay, some more in-depth stuff. Transitioning to a new solar system. Okay, so this is all more so once we get Pyro. For Arena Commander, work for streaming. The technology will allow Arena Commander to utilize any persistent universe location with ease. I like that. More with, and avoid duplicating planets or other object containers. So will we eventually get Arena Commander where we can just pick a planet that we want to fight around and then just do that? That would be cool. That would be really great for like planning your fights out. Like, oh, well, we know we want to attack this planet, this particular city, and then that would be really cool if we could just pull that up and then do like training programs. Okay, we got to approach from this way, and then we have to land this way, and then we can just assault the whole base and just do practice runs. That would be really cool if we could do that in Arena Commander. Like making Arena Commander like kind of like the holographic, like it would be like the virtual training that you would do on your ship. And like maybe when you log into the game, you're like getting out of your virtual training seat or something. I think that would be pretty cool. Engineering work for custom lobbies, that'll be cool. We need custom lobbies. We need to be able to like say, I want to just play with my friends and control all of the aspects of the game to make it fun for us. Internal tests, we're conducting our engineering experimental modes. Yes, we need experimental modes. I said this in a previous video. We need experimental modes for every type of gameplay so that people can practice without having to worry about all of the 30K things that can happen between them logging in and then getting to their destination, right? I just want to log in and figure out how to do mining. I want to log in and figure out how to do salvage. I want to be able to log in and practice those things without having to go through like, okay, now you have to go and get your, you got to go and get your armor. You got to go and get your weapons. Now you can go and get your ship. And now you got to find a mission. And now you got to fly all the way to that mission. And hopefully you don't get blown up. Like, I have to do all that just to practice. Like, just let me do it in master modes. Let me do it in Arena Commander. Easy. So where we at? So it says here, engineering. That's, you know, I'm cool with starting with engineering and experimental modes. All right. It says focus has been on functionality, but now we are excited to improve not just the overall UX of Arena Commander's UI, but the but to bring it in line with the quality and style established across the rest of the game. I don't know what that means. That's a little bit too general. They completed back-end work required for Grav Royale. Okay, I dig that. Core gameplay continued working on an underlying mission system refactor. Okay, more underlying stuff. An update was made to reputation-based hostility. Now this I like. So reputation-based hostility now will be if you are working for a certain faction and another faction doesn't like that faction and they know that you're working for them, they'll be more hostile towards you. Also, if you do missions that interfere with another faction, that faction will of course be more hostile towards you. And then the reverse is true as well, right? If you do things and they like each other, then those factions will like you more because you did something good for their ally. So that's really cool. I like that. So this looks like they haven't completed all of that. This is more so just people coming to the defense of others. And then people not intervening. Okay, that's pretty cool. Contracts manager converted to building blocks. Thank you. New Moby glass. Thank you. We've needed a new Moby glass for a while, but the biggest thing is that we've needed the map, the star map to be changed. Oh my goodness, you have no idea. Whew. Like there were times when I first started playing Star Citizen that I just turned the whole game off because I was so frustrated with the mini map, like with the star map. Like I was so frustrated with it that I was just like I don't even want to play anymore. And I know there were some people who started playing Star Citizen, got into the game, and they were like, the thing that I need to work the most is the star map because it's where I have to use this so much to get here and here. So for it to not be working, it's super frustrating. So again, more reasons why I'm super excited for 3.23 because these are some long awaited changes that we've needed for a while. Persistent and instance hangars. Work began on the instanced interior system. So this manages which hangar instances exist, need to be created, so on and so forth. So we're not getting hangars in 3.23. We're getting in a later patch, but I'm still excited for it. I just feel like this was kind of one of the biggest things I was wanting to have because I feel like having a place that's your own in this type of game world is one of the biggest things that people have been waiting for, right? Like we used to have the hangar thing where you could like just load up and then be in your hangar. And so they kind of just got rid of that. And then now you just don't have anything, right? So now, like if I want to go and look at a ship, right? When you see me do ship reviews or not ship reviews, ship walkthroughs really. And I load up a ship, what you're really seeing is like, I just got to go to free fly mode to do that. But I would love to be able to start in my own hangar and like look at the ship while it's landed, look at it from the outside and everything. And then I could switch to like taking it out and doing the free fly thing, right? So yeah, I'm kind of bummed it's not coming in 3.23, but at the same time, like I want them to get it right. I don't want you to give me some crap, right? So go ahead, take your time, CIG, get it right. The team implemented the initial version of automated cargo loading and unloading, including displaying information on ASOP terminals that this ship is currently unavailable for retrieval due to being loaded or unloaded. We need that. So right now, people are going to get like 500 something SCU, and then they come back, and then it's immediately unloaded. They get back into their ship after it's unloaded. Boom, they're gone. Like all it takes is you land, you go to the ASOP terminal, it's unloaded, you sell it or whatever, you get back in, go and do it all again, right? So people are making so much money so fast that it starts to become irrelevant, right? Like, what's the point of making this much money if it's so easy to make, right? And everybody has it. The idea should be there should be some difficulty to making that much money. So let's hope that they get there. All right, let's see. Progress was also made. Freight elevator and loading platform occlusion logic. I don't really know what that means, but I'm glad they're progressing on it. Finally, for core gameplay, the team worked on various debug tools. Okay, good. They're still working on these last few seem to be all about the hangars. So it's just letting us know they're still working on the hangars. Economy. The economy team made changes to bring salvage mode more in line with PU's other careers. They're currently rebalancing commodities to improve the cargo career experience too. Support was also provided for the Xenothread global event. So the prices are probably going to go down. Salvage was making a lot of people rich very quickly. So you knew that was going to be balanced. Come on, you had to know that was going to be balanced. It was crazy. Like the amount that Salvage was making was absolutely insane. So yeah, they're rebalancing it to make sure that it's more of a normal work experience. I do think the way they should rebalance it though is not just bringing it down to other careers. They should bring some of the other careers up, right? You want people to make some money, right? Like if I'm doing this career and my biggest thing about this career is how much money I make, I want to be able to go out and make that money fairly fast if I have a way of making it fast, right? If I have, you know, a reclaimer, I should be able to make substantially more, exponentially more money than if I have a vulture, right? And yeah, maybe you have to balance how long it takes to make that money just to make it, you know, hey, I shouldn't be able to make this much money solo. But yeah, it should, you if you're going to balance it, you should still balance it higher. Like you want people to still feel like the same way you want people in combat ships to feel like they're like the greatest pilot on earth when they destroy a ship, right? You want people who, you know, are really good at salvaging to feel like, oh my goodness, I really just killed that. Like I did that really well, right? Like I should have that same excitement, right? Well, maybe not the same, but like, you know, I should have a similar experience, right? Graphics, VFX, looks like they are working on long-term stuff here. We talked about gas clouds a little bit already. Global illumination team. See, now a lot of people don't pay attention to the global illumination stuff, but the lighting in Star Citizen is one of the things that makes it incredible. And this is, they're working on ray tracing, which if you don't know, ray tracing drastically changes the lighting for pretty much any game that you see it in. And one of the things I love about ray tracing, or I love about Star Citizen, is Star Citizen's lighting was already incredible before ray tracing. So adding ray tracing, which makes lighting incredible, to a game where the lighting is already incredible, like I cannot wait to see it. There's a reason, like Star Citizen is so cinematic. You can just go around and fly your ship and you don't have to do anything and still have a good time because it's so beautiful. So we really got to put some, you know, respect on the names of these global illumination folks, the graphics and VFX folks. We gotta, and Planet Tech, we gotta put some respect on their name, right? They're making a beautiful game. So looks like they're working on Vulcan. They're getting that ready for release. Devs from the Water Strike team closed out issues that came up in the final review. Okay. Planet Tech team began improving their editor workflow, working towards Planet Tech V5. So not really a whole lot. It says achieve more diversity, density, and consistency and quality across whole planetary surfaces. Diversity, density, and consistency. Huh. Oh, so I'm guessing diversity means making the planet look like it's not just a bunch of patches that have just been like, oh, I just saw this tree back there. I just saw that river's doing the same thing that the other river's doing. So making it feel more like a whole planet, not that like you're just shifting through the same 3 little planetary surfaces over and over again. So I get that. Density, adding more to each one of those patches to make it feel like it's more alive. And consistency in quality, right? You don't want to go across certain places and be like, oh, look, this has rivers and it's got mains that I could like do stuff with in my rock or my rock DS. And then I keep going for like a few more miles and it's like, this is just a patch of trees. This is just a patch of trees. And then most of the planet is just a patch of trees, right? You don't want that. You want it to be quality throughout the planet. Then it says they focused on upscaling tech. All right. Like I said, lighting. Look at this. This lighting is... Look at that room, man. I just want to... It's. I don't even know. I don't know if that's... Oh, that's a distribution center. It says right there. Including distribution centers, instance hangars, freight elevators, and a new character customizer. So across the board, Just looks like this. So I think the graphics and VX team, I think this is more talking about like the world itself, and the lighting team is talking about interiors really. So look at this. This is pretty freaking cool. I can't wait for the distribution centers. Like, they're going to change the way we play the game. I think it's going to be the first instance where I'm going to be like, bring people to this game because they're going to have fun. Before it was bring people to this game because it's interesting and unique and it's cool. Now it's going to be like, bring people to the game because it's legitimately just going to be fun. And so 3.23 is going to add that fun factor that I think is not missing for people who are major Star Citizen fans already, but it might be missing for people who have been kind of skeptical about Star Citizen, right? So I think 3.23 is going to close that gap. As long as they don't keep taking stuff out of it. Come on, CIG. You took freight elevators out. I'm okay, but I don't want you to keep taking stuff out. All right, you got to deliver this. All right. Locations EU. So landing zone team worked with a feature team to finalize their working prototype for cargo and the new hangar experience. I dig it. All right. So this is more hangar stuff. This is obviously showing us that this is like a massive hangar for like a massive ship, right? So they're showing you the scale with the little person here, that this is obviously a large hangar, or extra, would it be a large hangar? A size 6 hangar. So for a capital ship. Sandbox 2 team worked toward closing out the upcoming distribution centers. For example, art is being finalized and optimized with level design. So now they said you couldn't take vehicles in here, but I'm seeing grass and then distribution center. So I'm guessing that you'll be able to take vehicles in here. Now, maybe they'll, like, I'm seeing this little, like, I see this concrete barrier here. Obviously that can be moved to be put in front of here, but interesting. Oh no, wait. Maybe this isn't the distribution center. That looks like the distribution center in the background. So maybe this is like, maybe the distribution center will have little parts of the distribution center that, like, oh, maybe you can turn off all the lights in the distribution center if you go here and you destroy all their fuel access, right? And then maybe you can, like, you know, when we were talking about there's different ways to get into a distribution center, right? So maybe if you can shut power down to the distribution center just for, not for like 20 minutes or anything, but just for like 2 minutes while, you know, somebody is able to sneak in and then the security system goes down or the lights are off or something like that. So maybe these are little areas around the distribution center where you can do things like that. But looks like that's not a vehicle going into the distribution center. You know, people are going to figure that out though. Like, I can imagine already, like, I mean, people have done it. People will have a vehicle and they'll go into, like, just like maybe a few 100 feet off the ground, and then they'll just drive the vehicle off of the ship and land it wherever the hell they want the vehicle to land. So you're not going to be able to keep vehicles out of distribution centers for long. Like, people will figure out how to get them in there. So maybe I just gave away a tactic. I don't care. I want to see the carnage of the distribution centers. All right, mission design. So, I didn't say about the distribution center thing. So it looks like they are kind of finalizing the mission design, the art. So this is kind of what they're going to look like. I don't think we have a whole lot of things to kind of figure out about distribution centers. It seems like this is one of the most concrete things that's coming in 3.23. Mission design says they're working on scale and difficulty, which that's going to be constantly ongoing because there's going to be such a different skill level, right? There's going to be people who've been playing this game for 10 years. They're going to probably be a little bit better than the people who are just coming in the last 2 or 3 years. So elsewhere, designs for new missions are currently being signed off. Good. We're getting new missions, future hauling content. So good. People, if you do like hauling missions and cargo, you know that it's kind of just like bring it from here, take it to there, and then that's it. I would love for that content to be a little bit more unique. So when I got my 400i, I was talking about the fact that I got it because it's a fast ship, and so there's these unique missions that are coming where you're going to have to get the cargo there, and how fast you get it there matters more than how much you're carrying, right? So it might only be 40 SCU of cargo, but it's the same haul that I would get for like 300 SCU of cargo as long as I get it there fast enough, right? So it doesn't require as much work. So if you're wondering like, why would you do that rather than just go get 300 SCU, it doesn't require as much work, right? I can load and unload this much faster. Not to mention the mission is all about speed. So my time investment is lower because I can make the same amount of money in less time, and it's based on that time, right? So I just want the best ship for that job. So it's like, if I want to make some quick money, right? Like maybe I want to fund a new base building operation. I'll take my 400i, load it up with some speed cargo, some cargo that requires me to get it there fast, and then do like 4 or 5 runs back and forth. And then boom, now I got enough money for my next base building operation. So I want multiple different ways of making quick money. And then there's some days where I'm just going to be like, I'll load up my whole E, and it'll take 7 hours, but I'll get, 3 Idris to protect me, and then we'll just go. And it'll take 7 hours for me to complete the mission, and I'll make a crap ton of money. But some days I'll want the long form content, and some days I'll want the short stuff. So hauling content is huge for that, because I think most people just, if they want some quick money, they're just gonna go and do some cargo hauling. So, all right, then it says gameplay and the implementation of freight elevators. Blockade runner received polish and the implementation of freight elevators. So the blockade runners in the game. So originally the Banu Merchantman was supposed to be a blockade runner, and it still technically is. It's just a capital class blockade runner. So it's not as useful as a blockade runner and as other ships are going to be. I do think that now you're talking about like the MSR, the 400i, and the Raylan. The Raylan is dedicated blockade runner, where the other two is like they can pull it off, right? MSR is more so than the 400i because the MSR is just faster, unless you're talking about in Atmo. So yeah, the blockade runner, I love that that's coming, even if it is only for Xenothreat. I think that's really cool. But they need to bring the Raylan, right? The Raylan is the ship for blockade running. So I feel like Alien Week. So Alien Week, I'm hoping that it's the Banu Merchantman, right? If it's not the Banu Merchantman, they better have some significant progress on the Banu Merchantman, because they keep apologizing for not releasing it rather than just releasing it. Like, just release it or work on it. Stop apologizing. Just work on it and get it done. So if that's not the biggest ship that comes out, then I want to see the Raylan released, and because I bought a Raylan, and also I want to see some significant progress on Banu Merchantman during Alien Week, like to the point where they should have an announcement date for it. If it doesn't come out, they should have an announcement date. The Banu Merchantman is coming in patch 3.26 or whatever, right? They should have that. All right. Narrative. So let's see. Missions. They're working on missions, distribution centers. Okay, so it looks like they're just working on like, why do these distribution centers exist? Where do the missions come from? How is this going to affect Pyro? Things like that. Okay. Future story missions. I love that they're always creating new story. Like, their narrative team is dedicated. Like, we're just going to keep creating missions. So as we accomplish these missions, there's always going to be more missions being created, and they're going to fit in the wider verse story. So I like that. Tourist behaviors. I like that. So the one of the great things about this game is like the world feeling alive, right? You want people to be in a place for a reason. They're not just walking in front of you just to be in your way, right? NPCs are going to have things to do. Like this NPC has a family. They want to take their family on vacation because they are on their weekend. So they go and they take their family to vacation. So when you bump into that person, it's because they were walking towards the tourist attraction that is going that way. And if you follow these NPCs around, you'll be able to see them just living their life. And I think that's really, really cool. I don't know how much you'll be able to follow them, because at some point they're going to go into like a spawn closet just because they're assets, right? So I think it's really cool. Maybe you'll just get to see them living a section of their life, and the narrative team adds to that, right? Looks like we're getting a Whitley's guide on the Valkyrie and some Galactopedia articles. So if you're into that, go ahead, check that stuff out. R&D is looking at temporal render mode. History filtering was switched to a custom by cubic fill. I don't know what any of this stuff means. Care was also taken to eliminate potential ringing artifacts. This is for game developers and people who understand the coded language here. I don't understand it. The temporal filtering and transmittance was improved to avoid glowing thin silhouettes around objects. Okay, now I get it. Okay. So they're making the game look better. That's all I need to know from that. Tech art animation. Last month, the tech animation team focused on refining head assets and cleaning up technical debt around their implementation. Okay. So this is polishing head assets, refining eye alignment in the editor. I like this. So a lot of the time, it looks like all the heads look the same. Like everybody's head looks the same. I think we needed some more variety there. Eye alignment, I do think that sometimes it looks a little weird when you're looking at your character in the game and their eyes like looking slightly off to the side. So yes, we need that. The large contingent of the department is working on asset setup for lockers. Okay. I like it. We're finally going to get some use for these lockers. We can finally put our stuff in there and actually see it sit in there. So it's always cool to be like, oh yeah, this ship has lockers, but we don't know how useful that is yet, right? I can't wait to see like what we get as far as armors, right? Because you're going to need like your hot weather, your cold weather, you're going to need like your combat armor, you're going to need your flight suit, and then you probably need at least like one other one, right? Whether it's for swimming or whatever. I don't know what it'll be, but I'm going to guess you'll need at least 5 sets of armor, right? That if you're trying to have, like carry the ready for everything armor set, right? But then there's other people that need to store their armor as well. So like if you got 5 armor lockers and it's just filled with your armor stuff, then maybe you're just gonna have to pack that underneath the ship, you know. This sounds simple, but in practice we have to support a wide array of assets that can be stowed and recovered from the vessels. It can take quite some time to ensure everything is set up correctly. Okay, got it. Take your time, make sure we can look at that stuff correctly. We got plenty of room to just stuff it under the ship for now. The team also kicked off initiatives to ensure the health of the build remains stable and triage technical debt built up over the course of the project. Okay. The VFX team continued working on several upcoming locations, including freight elevators and distribution centers. We know that. Freight elevators got pushed back, distribution centers did not. So I hope you're focusing more on distribution centers right now, because that's what's coming. They also investigated an issue with planetary ground storms where fog was coming in too thick when light winds arrived. I haven't seen that. I haven't been playing as much the last few days, but I have not seen that. So we'll see. Although it's difficult to balance dynamic effects such as this, it will be easier for players to see where they are going if a storm is relatively mild. All right. That's a lot. All right, so I think most people don't really go through and read the monthly report, which is part of the reason why I wanted to like start kind of going through it on the channel, right? This is not really content that is for everyone though. Some people don't really care about what's going on monthly with Star Citizen. So this is all stuff that was worked on in February. This is not stuff that they're going to work on in March. This is stuff that was worked on in February. So when they do the monthly report, this is an after action report. Oh, that's a military term. It's basically, we did that stuff already. We're just telling you what we did so you don't think that we're just sitting here doing nothing. So what they're working on in March is probably going to be some of this stuff, like the stuff that they were saying that's not quite complete yet. They're still working on. So we won't know what they worked on in March until the end of March, or probably a few days into April. But yeah, I think, you know, the roadmap roundup is normally a little bigger than this, so it is what it is. But the monthly report has always got some good stuff in it, right? So we found out about them editing AI spaceship behaviors. There's at least 5 flyable things coming. They're almost finishing up the Zeus. So like, it's stuff that's in here that, you know, maybe you don't care about all of the core gameplay stuff or the economy stuff, but this stuff is the stuff that when it seems like it's a surprise, like, wow, I didn't even know they were working on that. It's because they told you they were in the monthly report, and people just don't go through and read those. So yeah, that's been the monthly report and the roadmap roundup. So I'll probably have another video come out.